In the serene corridors of a California hospital, a promising nursing student vanishes without a trace. Michelle, known for her compassion and dedication, embarked on a routine break, never to return. What follows is a chilling tale of jealousy, obsession, and a relentless pursuit for justice. Join us as we unravel the mystery behind Michelle's disappearance, the investigation that gripped a nation, and the shocking revelation that left everyone stunned. This is the tragic story of Michelle.
Michelle Huang Tiechila was born on October 12, 1984, in San Diego, California, to Vietnamese immigrant parents. Growing up in the Rancho Penasquitos neighborhood, Michelle was known for her bright and caring personality. She had a younger brother, Michael, with whom she shared a close bond. Her parents instilled in her the values of hard work, education, and compassion. Michelle attended Mt. Carmel High School, where she excelled academically and was involved in various extracurricular activities. Her dedication to helping others and her academic achievements made her a standout student. After graduating in 2002, she pursued higher education at San Jose State University before transferring to San Francisco State University to focus on nursing. Driven by a passion for healthcare, Michelle enrolled in the accelerated nursing program at Samuel Merritt University in Oakland. Her commitment to her studies and her desire to make a difference in people's lives were evident to all who knew her. Michelle was known for her empathy, dedication, and the ability to connect with people from diverse backgrounds. Michelle's goal was to become a nurse, inspired by her desire to provide care and support to those in need. Her friends and family remember her as a loving and compassionate individual who always put others before herself. She had a promising future ahead of her in the medical field, and her untimely death was a devastating loss to all who knew her. On May 27, 2011, Michelle Huang Tiechila, a nursing student at Samuel Merritt University, vanished from the parking garage of Kaiser Permanente Medical Center in Hayward, California. She had taken a break during her clinical rotation and went to retrieve something from her car, but never returned. Her sudden disappearance was alarming, and her family reported her missing when she did not come back for her shift. The following day, Michelle's white Honda SUV was found about half a mile from the medical center. The discovery of her vehicle, coupled with no signs of Michelle, led investigators to suspect foul play. A massive search operation ensued, involving friends, family, volunteers, and law enforcement. Flyers were distributed, and a reward was offered for information on her whereabouts. Despite these efforts, the initial searches did not yield any significant clues. Michelle's disappearance quickly garnered media attention, and the community came together in support. Numerous search parties were organized, covering extensive areas in and around Hayward. Missing persons organizations, including the Kloss Kids Foundation, joined the efforts, bringing expertise and resources to the search. However, as weeks turned into months, hope began to fade. On September 17, 2011, a grim discovery was made in a remote area near Sunol Canyon in Alameda County. Human remains were found, and 2 days later, the Alameda County Coroner's Office confirmed that the remains belonged to Michelle Le. The confirmation of her death marked a tragic end to the search, but it also intensified the investigation into her murder. The investigation into Michelle Le's disappearance quickly focused on Giselle Deweg Esteban, a former friend of Michelle's. Esteban harbored a deep-seated resentment towards Michelle, believing that Michelle had interfered in her relationship with her ex-boyfriend, Scott Marasigan. Esteban's jealousy and animosity grew over time, fueled by a perceived betrayal and feelings of abandonment. Surveillance footage from the parking garage showed Esteban's car following Michelle's vehicle on the night of her disappearance. Additionally, cell phone records placed Esteban in the area at the time Michelle went missing. Investigators discovered DNA evidence, including blood stains in Michelle's car and on Esteban's shoe, further implicating her in the crime. Despite initially denying involvement, the mounting evidence against Esteban was overwhelming. Esteban's motive was rooted in her obsessive jealousy and paranoia. She believed that Michelle was a threat to her relationship with Marasigan, even though there was no evidence to support this claim. Esteban's fixation on Michelle led her to stalk and ultimately murder her former friend in a premeditated act of violence. On September 7, 2011, Esteban was arrested and charged with Michelle's murder. The discovery of Michelle's body in Sunol Canyon confirmed the worst fears of her family and friends. The autopsy revealed that Michelle had suffered a violent death, and the investigation into her murder intensified. During the trial, prosecutors presented a compelling case, detailing Esteban's actions and the evidence linking her to the murder. Esteban did not confess to the murder, but the overwhelming evidence, including her threatening statements and surveillance footage, painted a clear picture of her guilt. The defense argued that Esteban acted in a moment of passion, but the jury was not convinced. The prosecution highlighted Esteban's history of stalking Michelle and the meticulous planning that went into the murder. Esteban's obsessive behavior and unfounded jealousy were central to the case, showing a pattern of harassment and threats that culminated in the tragic event. On October 29, 2012, Giselle Esteban was found guilty of first-degree murder. At her sentencing on December 10, 2012, Esteban was given 25 years to life in prison. During the sentencing, Michelle's family and friends spoke about the profound impact her loss had on their lives. They remembered Michelle as a vibrant, caring individual whose life was tragically cut short by an act of senseless violence. The Michelle murder case brought to light the dangers of stalking and the devastating consequences of unchecked jealousy and rage. It also highlighted the importance of community support and the tireless efforts of volunteers and law enforcement in seeking justice. Michelle's memory continues to inspire those who knew her, and her story serves as a reminder of the importance of compassion, vigilance, and the pursuit of justice for victims of violent crimes. Giselle Esteban's primary motivation for murdering Michelle was rooted in obsessive jealousy and paranoia. Esteban believed that Michelle was a threat to her relationship with her ex-boyfriend, Scott Marasigan. Despite there being no evidence to support this claim, Esteban's jealousy and irrational belief that Michelle was interfering in her life led her to commit the heinous crime. Esteban's fixation on Michelle, combined with her inability to control her emotions and actions, ultimately resulted in the tragic and senseless murder of Michelle Le. The Michelle Le murder case is marked by several chilling details that highlight the calculated nature of the crime and the deep-seated animosity of the perpetrator, Giselle Esteban. 1. Stalking and surveillance. Esteban had been stalking Michelle for weeks before the murder. She meticulously tracked Michelle's movements using surveillance cameras and following her car on multiple occasions. This stalking behavior underscored the premeditated nature of the crime. 2. Pre-murder threats. In the months leading up to the murder, Esteban made numerous threats against Michelle. She sent threatening text messages and left menacing voicemails, expressing her jealousy and anger. These threats provided a clear motive and demonstrated Esteban's intent to harm Michelle. 3. Detailed planning. The evidence showed that Esteban had planned the murder in great detail. She purchased duct tape, gloves, and other items commonly associated with criminal activity. Esteban's careful planning indicated that she intended to carry out the murder and cover her tracks. 4. False alibis. After Michelle disappeared, Esteban attempted to create false alibis to mislead investigators. She claimed to have been elsewhere at the time of the murder and tried to establish a narrative that would distance her from the crime scene. However, surveillance footage and cell phone records contradicted her statements, exposing her lies. 5. Cold demeanor. Throughout the investigation and trial, Esteban displayed a chilling lack of remorse. Witnesses and investigators noted her cold and detached demeanor, both during interrogations and in court. This lack of emotion further highlighted the calculated and heartless nature of her actions. These chilling details paint a picture of a premeditated and callous crime, driven by jealousy and a desire for revenge. Esteban's actions not only led to the tragic death of Michelle Le but also left a lasting impact on the community and all those who knew Michelle.